Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, we'll be doing the full in-depth review of this Redmi Note 5 Pro. And for the first 8 days, I used it with my primary SIM, that is A10. And after that, I used it with Jio on VoLTE. And I've made pointers, and I'll divide this review between the pros and cons, what I liked about this device, and what are the things that I did not like about this device. But before that, here are the specs. As you can see, it is powered by the new Snapdragon 636 chipset, and it comes with 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, and it comes with the new screen aspect ratio, that is 18:9, and other specs are on the screen for your reference. So let's now quickly divide this review between pros and cons, what I liked about this device and what are the things that I did not like about the device, and I feel Xiaomi did some skimping. First, let's talk with the pros. And first, let's talk about the build quality. And if you see this device, again, I've already posted my initial thought videos and all those other videos. A link for those videos will be there in the YouTube show notes. And if you've seen those videos, the build quality is actually good. It looks like a modern Android handset due to the new screen aspect ratio 18:9, and because of that they are able to put almost a 6-inch screen on this one, and then also it feels okay and comfortable in the hand. In terms of build quality, I have no issues. Now if we talk about the styling, here I would say styling is always a personal preference in my frank opinion, and from the front it looks like any modern smartphone, but if you move towards the back, again it resembles the iPhone 10 due to that dual camera setup. I feel Xiaomi could have done a better job. And also in terms of the antenna design, it's plain Jane. In fact, I would say in terms of design, this is the Mi A1. The antenna designs were better done on this one. So again, I'm actually neutral in terms of the styling of this device. Now if we talk about the in-hand feel, in that respect I would say Xiaomi did a good job. The weight balance of the phone is good. It's not top heavy or bottom heavy, so it's easy to hold in a single hand, though it's slightly on the heavier side because it has that 4000 milliampere battery, but you get used to it after a couple of days. Now moving to the sensors, this is one thing that I like with Xiaomi devices, that they do not skimp on sensors. So it has almost every sensor that you will need, including a gyroscope and other sensors. But one thing that Xiaomi did skimp on this one is does have a physical LED notification light. It's a tiny one here at the top, but it only works in white color. Previous Xiaomi devices had this physical LED notification light, but it was multicolored. But on this one, it's a single color white one. Now moving to the speakers, sadly, like even the regular Redmi Note 5, this has just a single speaker here at the bottom, but again it is adequately loud, so you don't have to worry. But I would have loved to see, at least because this is a pro version, a dual speaker setup, but that's not the case. But in terms of loudness, the speaker is adequately loud, and the ringtone volume etc is loud, so no issues regarding that. Now moving to the cellular call quality, as I mentioned in my earlier part of the video, that I've used it with Airtel and even with Jio, and I had excellent network reception with this one, especially with Airtel. This is my office, this is a soundproof room, hence the signal reception on Airtel is very low on this area, but with this one I was able to take calls easily even with Airtel in this room, and I did not have any disconnect. So in terms of cellular reception quality, the cellular reception quality is actually very good on this Redmi Note 5 Pro, and I also tested it with Jio and it works fine. Now moving to RAM management, it comes in two variants, 4 gigabytes of RAM and 6 gigabytes of RAM. The one that I have is having 4 gigabytes of RAM, and even with this 4 gigabytes of RAM, I never had a problem of RAM management on this device, and in general usage I never had a problem of RAM management. So even the 4 gigabyte RAM variant is more than enough. I frankly feel the Xiaomi is charging quite a bit of premium for the 6 gigabyte RAM variant. So in terms of RAM management, no issues. Now moving to the processor, this one has the new Snapdragon 636 SoC, which is actually the first smartphone, this one, that is using that processor, and it comes with the new GPU, that is the Adreno 509. And I was a little bit skeptical how would be the performance of this processor. I'll talk about the battery life later, and I have to say the performance of this one is actually very good. I never faced any issues of any lag whatsoever. I even played some heavy games and it played them fine. So in terms of general responsiveness, mess, and the processor was handling it fine. But one thing that I noticed is that when I was heavily using this phone on mobile data, continuously browsing, doing its GPS navigation, the back tends to get a little bit warm. That is something that I have noticed, but no, it's not like it's getting excessively hot, but you feel that it tends to get a little bit warm because of this aluminum back. But in terms of performance, as I told you, I had no issues with this phone. Now moving to the battery life, I was also a little bit curious how would be the battery life, because it's a new processor and it has that 4000 milliamp hour battery. And I have to say, in terms of battery life, you don't have to worry about it. Even if you are sort of a heavy user, it will last you for a full typical day, and for most users I would say it will last for about 1.5 days. As you can see from the graphs, it was easily lasting me for over 1.5 days even with heavy usage, and getting screen on time over 6 to about 7 hours. So in terms of battery life also, the battery life was very good. If you're sort of a casual user, it will give you almost over 2 days of battery life per charge. I'll talk about the charging later on. Now moving to gaming, quite a few of you have asked me to do the gaming review. So in fact, I posted a dedicated gaming review and I played quite a few heavy games with this device, and as you can see, it played all the games without any issues. With Modern Combat 5, I had some minor issue. I think it's a software issue, not a hardware issue. But in terms of gaming also, I was impressed with the gaming performance of this device. Even heavy games like Asphalt 8 at the highest setting exhibited no lag. So it's good for gaming also. Now moving to the camera, which I feel is the highlighting point about this device, and I have already posted several videos regarding its camera performance and have compared it with other devices. Again, links for those videos will be there in the YouTube description area. But as you can see from the sample shots, the camera performance of this device is actually very good, and also in terms of color accuracy, the color accuracy is also good. Yes, due to that dual camera setup, you have that portrait mode and it actually works very well. So in terms of camera performance, I was thoroughly satisfied with this device. And in fact, the front facing camera might be the best in the class. It has a 20 megapixel front facing camera, and it also has that portrait mode even with the front facing camera. Yes, sometimes the edge detection, if you enable the portrait mode with the front facing camera, can be a hit or miss, particularly around your hair. But again, I feel Xiaomi can solve those issues with software update. So in a nutshell, in terms of camera performance, the camera performance is actually very good on this device. Regarding video, Xiaomi officially have restricted the video up to only 1080p, though the chipset can support 4K, but as of now, the max video recording is 1080p. I'll talk about the video recording in the later part of the video. So now these were the things that I actually liked with this device. Now let's move to the things that I actually did not like with this device, and these are the cons. And the first thing is regarding the camera, and that is regarding the video. As I've told you, it can record video up to 1080p, and the good thing is that it has electronic image stabilization with the video. And as you can see with the sample shot, even if you're walking around, the video is very stable. But one thing that I've noticed is that even the 1080p video quality is not very high, and also in terms of focusing, it hunts the focus quite a bit. I hope Xiaomi can solve this issue because they have already restricted the video quality from 4K to 1080p, but the 1080p video quality is also not very sharp. So that is one thing you have to note. Now moving to charging. The charger that is supplied in the box is a regular charger, that is a 5 volt 2 amp charger, and with that also it charges fairly quickly. But I did test this device and it actually supports quick charging, specifically Qualcomm quick charging 2, and I've already made a separate video regarding that. In fact, this Redmi Note 5 Pro and even the regular Redmi Note 5, both of them actually support fast charging. But again, it is sort of picky with what charger you use it, because I tested with this Mi power bank. This supports fast charging, and with this one I could actually fast charge this device. But when I used another fast charger that I have, that is from the LG V30, that is Qualcomm Quick Charge 3 certified. With that one, it was not fast charging. So it's sort of slightly picky about fast charging, what charger you use. And I feel at this price point, as Xiaomi is calling it a pro device, they should have bundled official fast charger with this device. Now moving to another minor thing is that, again, you guys need to know this is having a hybrid SD card solution. So at a time you can put one nano SIM and one SD card or two nano SIMs. So again, and this mid-range, many people keep asking for a dedicated SD card slot. That is not to be found, but I feel that's not a big con because the internal storage that you're getting with this is almost 64 gigabytes, and out of that you get 50 gigabytes. But again, I thought you guys shouldn't know that. And lastly is regarding the pricing difference. Xiaomi is selling it in two variants, 4 gigabytes of RAM, the one that I'm using, and there is another variant that is having 6 gigabytes of RAM. Both of them actually have the same internal storage, that is 64 gigabytes, but the 4 gigabyte RAM variant is selling for 14,000, whereas the 6 gigabyte variant is selling for 17,000. So Xiaomi is charging 3,000 rupees for just 2 gigabytes of extra RAM, and I feel the pricing is simply not justified. So in my frank opinion, I feel the 4 gigabyte RAM variant that is going to be sold for 14,000 is the best option. So to conclude this video, I would say at the price point of about 14,000, this Redmi Note 5 Pro is a solid pick. The general performance of this device is very good, excellent cellular reception, and also one of the best camera in this price range. Yes, with that bokeh effect with the front-facing camera, it can be improved, but I'm hoping with software update, Xiaomi will improve that. And also, overall performance of this phone was very good. So certainly, if you have a price band of around 14,000, this would be one of my first picks. And I feel last year, the Redmi Note 4 was very popular in India, and I won't be surprised if this year, the Redmi Note 5 Pro would be the same for Xiaomi. Again, I've already posted several other videos with this Redmi Note 5 Pro covering its various other aspects. Link for those videos will be there in the YouTube description area, so do check out that. And if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care.